Welcome to this presentation of AutoCollect. AutoCollect is a cutting-edge app designed for Business Central, aiming to revolutionize accounts receivable and cash flow management. The app automates customer collection, streamlines communication through automated notices, integrates task management with Business Central and Outlook, ensures persistent follow-ups on past due account, and promotes team collaboration for maximizing cash flow. The app promises to bring efficiency and effectiveness to accounts receivable management, providing a transformative impact on cash flow and workflow. AutoCollect is using Auto Email, which is another app that handles all the emailing. So you will need both apps in order to run AutoCollect. So let's take a look at the setup and the features. So let's take a look at our customers here. I'm going to pick trade research and I'm going to look at the AutoCollect log. So we can see that 2 entries were made by the job queue, was run automatically, and those 2 entries were made, and we can see them here. On the 19th, there was a non-past due entry. We can see the different parameters here. There was a threshold of 1,000. And the past due balance was 0, so nothing really happened. It's just registered in the log, so we can see that something happened on that day. Then 7 days later, there's another one. It's under threshold, so it's not the same as not past due, but it's under threshold. And we can see again the threshold was up to 4,000, and past due balance is 3,000 and something. So it is not considered a past due entry. And we can also see the due date here. Up here is actually the due date that we are calculating the past due balance on. And we can see that it's actually a little earlier, so that the last 5-something days we are not registering a past due entry here, even though they may have some recently past due. Let's go back and take a look at this one. We go to the AutoCollect log, and we can see that here we actually have 2 past due entries, one on the 19th and one on the 26th. And there was an email sent. We can see the order due balances here. We can see them over here also, and the due date that was used. And we can see that there was an email logged into the order email. And we can click here and actually see the email log, so that we can see that it actually went out. If we look at the first one here, we see that they have no past due balance. And if I look at the collect log, there's nothing at all. And the reason why is that this particular customer has no past due balance, and it was there has been no activity for the last couple of months, and so in the setup we have made it so that that means that nothing is going to be registered for this particular customer. And we can take a look at one of the last ones here and see that this one has a past due balance and another past due balance, and it actually didn't change. And then we can also see collection emails were sent, and we can take a look now and maybe call it and collect on it. We also have an AutoCollect log that we can see across the board, all the customers. And so here we just have all the activity that happened. And so it's a nice way of getting an overview of the log and what happened for all customers. Let's take a look at the collection templates. I'm going to pick this standard one. And you'll notice this one is a default template. You should only have one of those. And it means that all customers that do not have a specific template associated with them will use this default template. We will delete log entries according to this formula, and if you don't specify a formula, we won't. Here in this case, we are deleting log entries that are more than 3 years old. And this is from the collection log. Here we have the collection section, and we have turned on that we will create emails. If it's turned off, we will never create emails regardless of people being past due or not. It will just be logged in the collection log instead. The past due threshold is how much do we allow a customer to be past due. It's in this case 4,000, and so everything else is considered non-past due. And in the log it will be actually denoted with that it's under threshold instead of non-past due. Overdue allowed, it means here in this case that we will allow them to be more than or up to 6 days overdue, and that's still considered not due for a collection. Past due repeat collect is 6 days in this case, and it means that it's a number of days that we will allow before we will send another past due collection notice. So we don't want to send them every day. Here in this case we will allow another 6 days to happen, and then it will send another one if they are still past due. Ignore on hold. If you on a customer ledger entry, you can specify on hold, and if you have someone on this customer ledger entry on hold, it will could be ignored. If we ignore it, then it means that it's going to be part of the collection. In this case, we are actually not ignoring it, meaning that if you have a customer ledger entry on hold, it's not going to be part of the past due collection calculation. Ignore if no activity, in this case 2 months, and what we're saying here is that if a customer doesn't have any past due balance, no balance at all actually, and they don't have any activity for the past 2 months, we are not going to do anything. We're not going to log anything. It's basically just going to be a dormant collection log for this particular customer then. And this one is how many past due entries, non-past due entries do we want in the log. And in this case, we will only log one every 3 days. So we don't want necessarily to log non-past due, nothing past due. We will only do it, instead of doing it every day, we will do it here in this case every 3 days, or you can adjust it also. The task handling here, we also want to create a task, and it will create a task, and the task follow-up is 3 days from today, and it's a team task, and you can actually here specify if you want team task or collection person. And this is actually using the contact management system that is standard in Business Central. In the auto collect setup, we have a couple of parameters here. We have one for our enhanced aging feature, where we have the aging periods here. We specify the date formula for the aging period and also the number of aging periods you want, and we will allow up to 20 aging periods. This average collection date formula is for the customer. On the customer we have something that calculates the average collection days, and this is the formula how far back we want to calculate the average collection days. The monitoring, here's the log monitoring and job queue monitoring. You can refer to the manual. It's something you may want to set up, but it's not mandatory. On the first time setup, we have a couple of nice features here. You can create contacts from customers. We will require that in order for you to be able to create tasks. The update template on customer will allow you to go and select a template code and then do a filter on your customers, and all your customers within the filter will then get this template. It's a nice way of setting up customers really quickly. The run auto collect process is basically the process that the job queue will run, and so this is something you may want to run in the beginning to test and see that everything is logging correctly. and then you can turn on the job queue and it will do the job for you after that. The create job queue entries is basically something that already happens when you install the app, but if for some reason that gets deleted, you can create them again. And then finally, we have access to the templates. As the system starts collecting and creating tasks, you will see an increasing number of entries in your task list. And this is the task list used by the standard contact management system from Business Central. We have added a few fields here like the customer number and the customer name, so you can see that, but other than that, it's basically the standard, and you can go in here, take a look at this and start following up, calling the customer, sending emails, do all kinds of things that you like to do. And once you're done with it, you can complete it. And that's basically the task management that you get. And you get everything that the contact management system is offering. And so another thing also with the task is that there's an integration to Outlook, which means that these tasks will become tasks in Outlook, and you will then be able to follow up on them there instead of here. So that's also part of the standard contact management system in Business Central. We've added some additional collection information here in the customer statistic fact box to the right on the customer card. We have average collection days, and we have a auto collect aging here, a simple one, and then obviously we also have the enhanced aging based on the settings in setup, where you can see a more detailed aging than you can out here to the right. So finally, we're going to take a look at the job queue entry that has been set up for the auto collect logging process. So it looks like this, and we have set it up so that it will run here Mondays to Fridays, not Saturdays and Sundays. And we also have it that it's running just once a day. That's 1440 minutes. And finally, we have a start and ending time so that we make sure that the log is only created during business hours, or whatever it might be for you. Here you can set it up any way you want.